to the Kryptonaut Podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me, as always, is
Chris Carnacelli
and
Rob Morphy.
Thank you for joining us. The social medias, very important. Find us on there.
It's
Instagram,
so important.
Oh, God, okay.
Twitter,
Stop yelling.
Facebook. We're there.
Are we?
We are. I'm there.
You're there.
You're there.
Yeah, let's be
Come
honest.
say hi. Well, you guys are on Facebook.
We're on Facebook. I occasionally will stalk Instagram and delight
Are you
in...
an Insta stalker?
I don't know. Like I can look it up on my tablet, but I'm not actually a member, so I can't participate.
Oh, you just look around.
But I do like it when people say nice things.
Yeah, no. Find us on Instagram. Follow us there. Our ratings and reviews are important for this podcast. Be sure to leave them on the Apple iTunes and the Apple Podcast app, so it's help us out greatly. Let's talk about sales real quick.
Sales.
Sales. Let's
Like
talk about
boats. Yeah, exactly.
No, like money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, guys.
okay.
I'm like, guess
Yeah,
what we're doing this summer? I'm like,
America's Cup crypto.
Going sailing.
oh, God, can you imagine?
No, we are not going sailing like one crazy summer, but we have some stuff for sale. CryptonautPodcast.bigcartel.com. We have a enamel pin set, 2 enamel pins for $13. We have a beer koozie. And the stickers currently are offline, but we're going to be bringing them back in a little bit because we sold out of a bunch of them, so we got to bring those back.
Sweet.
TeePublic, you can get T-shirts and all kinds of apparel there. The link will be in the description of this podcast for that shop. Go there, check that out, hook that up. So, any purchases made help go to support the pod financially.
Absolutely.
We're like a small little business.
Absolutely.
We're like a little crypto mom and pop shop.
No, it helps us get a little gear and improve our means a
Yeah.
smidge.
Yeah, so if you want to help support the podcast, again, CryptonautPodcast.bigcartel.com and TeePublic, you can do at those places by buying fine goods. So let's get started.
Are
You
we
ready
selling
now?
jerked meat soon?
Yeah, dude, totally.
that'd be
Some
delicious.
sliced
Some aged,
kale cuts.
some aged cheese and some nice fresh coffee.
Yeah, if you want some Swiss
Yeah, there you
in
go.
a shirt.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. You can help support the podcast with some delicious spiced meats and some aged cheese. So this week, I'm going to try to say this.
I think you're going to do fine.
We're talking about the Sayama Entity,
We are.
and I nailed it.
Did it.
I think so, yeah.
Okay,
Man, you're a
only
beast
took us
with
a lot of
words.
pregame for me to say that. So let's get started with. In the late 1970s, the proprietor of a Japanese snack bar was using his portable ham radio rig to talk to his brother from an isolated mountaintop perch when an alarming series of events unfolded which would twist the seemingly immutable laws of optical physics and eventually culminate in a startling physical encounter with an utterly bizarre inhuman entity who does not appear to have originated on Earth.
Does not appear to have.
This is, dude.
Geez, optical physics?
Ham radios are great and all until
Oh,
all of a
yeah.
sudden you're questioning physics
Yeah.
and you're on a mountaintop and the next thing you don't know if Earth's real.
The immutable laws
Yeah,
Immutable.
of optical physics.
I thought I knew optical physics.
I thought I had a friend that would never give up on me.
No.
I mean, we don't
He's
know
not
optical
immutable.
physics, but apparently he did neither. So, Robert, let's get started.
Let's do it. At approximately 8:30 p.m. on the evening of October 3rd, 1978, a 29-year-old businessman and ham radio enthusiast named Hidechi Amano was savoring the awe-inspiring view of Sayama City, which is located in Saitama Prefecture, from within his car, which was parked near the top of a mountain located on the outskirts of his hometown.
Taking in the view sounds like a good night.
Absolutely.
All right.
Just pretty. Amano had driven to that elevation in order to talk with his younger brother via an elaborate car-mounted ham radio rig that utilized the unobstructed radio wave reception and transmission that one can only get near high, clear peaks. Understand, he built a sweet rig to go into his car, and he had to drive high because that's where the reception rocks.
My
Okay.
grandfather actually used to have one of these because my grandfather is still an active ham operator, a ham radio operator, but he had one of these things. in
I've
his
always
car.
been secretly fascinated by it. Like,
pretty cool,
listening to like Russian pop stations
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like the space program in another
Dude,
nation.
my grandfather's radio room is ridiculous. It looks like he's a spy from 1940.
Oh, absolutely. It's like
ridiculous.
you need a secret bookshelf. You move it to the
he
side.
literally just has like old Russian tubes stacked for his ham stuff.
Aesthetically, it's fucking
No,
brilliant.
it's the best. As long
Yeah,
as there's
absolutely.
not papers with like red yarn tying other things.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah,
hasn't
no.
gone.
Then
that
you're
far.
like,
No, he just talks to a couple of his buddies in the area.
Full-on conspiracy.
So, yeah.
Okay, so we understand that Mr. Amano, he's on the hill. He's broadcasting.
He's a radio
trying
tech.
to talk to his little brother. With him inside the vehicle, sleeping peacefully in the back seat, was his 2-year-old daughter, Jury, for whom he had named his food stand. So he loves his daughter so much, the snack shack he owns is also named Jury.
And
Sweet.
she's asleep in the back of the car, and she's 2. She'd probably be home, but okay.
Well, you know what? Do you want to be home or do you want to be with your dad who loves you?
You're 2.
On a mountainside, radioing Uncle
Talking Uncle
Bill.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uncle
Mark,
Takashi Bill.
Uncle Mark and Uncle Dave, Evelyn staying home.
Amano tweaked his sensitive gear, and at about 8:50 p.m., he was finally able to raise his brother, who lived 72 miles to the southwest in the Yamanashi Prefecture. After a long heart-to-heart with his sibling, Amano signed off, checked on his slumbering daughter, then decided he would exploit this opportunity to chat with some of his other ham friends before calling it a night. Because you don't drive up the mountain and just have one conversation.
No, you talk to your brother.
It's a
and then
community.
It's 78. You know, this is before chats and forums and whatnot.
Yeah, before everyone had the AOL Instant Messenger.
This was the social media of 78.
That's right.
Eventually, the conversations wound themselves to a close, and Amano decided that it was time to make the long descent back to Sayama City in order to tuck his daughter in and get a little rest for himself. To that end, the amateur audio engineer flicked on the fluorescent tube that he had installed in his car to replace the standard interior light, and then proceeded to switch his radio gear off. I mention this because it is true, because it happened, though there is no explanation for why in his car, which he called his mobile unit, I might add, why he had to replace the fucking typical dome light with his own fluorescent mini bar.
Right.
But he did, and so
he's just a dude who's into tech, man. That's what you
clearly
do.
he's building his own radio. He's building his own fucking car lights.
Yeah.
Why is he a restaurateur? I don't know, but hey,
We all have passions.
that's true. It was at that moment that Amano noticed that the new light began to increase in luminosity far beyond the expected capacity of its factory specs. So he replaces his dome light with a fancy new light, and now it's getting super bright.
Okay.
Transfixed by this nearly blinding display of what he almost certainly assumed was faulty wiring, the amazed tech wizard suddenly realized that the light within the car was behaving in a manner that physicists would find to be utterly incomprehensible.
Physicists.
Oh, boy.
Or even laymen, for that matter. Average Joes, waiters.
Like us, non-scientific folk?
If this happened to us, non-physicists all,
Right.
we would be astounded.
Jeez, all right.
Cool. Let's do it.
When the perplexed Amano stuck his head out the driver's side window, he was dumbfounded to discover that the blinding radiance seemed to be trapped inside the interior of his car, and that inexplicably none of the light was spilling outside of the car windows to illuminate the ground below.
Okay.
That's such a fucking weird thing that even though as I wrote this and as I read it now, I can't see that.
All right.
Like, I can't imagine. It's like saying,
but you would
what's
see
the
it.
color FERP?
Right.
Like, you don't know because it's something you can't fathom.
Light should obviously be traveling if it's that bright outside of the car.
So you see
it's
light
not,
condensed in an area.
Right. You'd see it from an outside looking in. You would
see
it. Just it would just look like a white TV screen.
Right.
I guess so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nothing's shining out of it, like just a white TV screen, kind of
Absolutely.
like on the windows.
And then the outside, I guess, is maybe illuminated by stars and moon, so it's not like totally opaque.
Right.
But it's not getting the extra lambasting of fluorescent light that it ought to be.
It's weird. The
It is weird.
immutable laws of physics have been immuted.
They have been muted.
Weird.
Whoa.
They are totally mutable.
All right, mute them.
Okay. The technology junkie immediately understood that this defied not only logic, but fundamental scientific principles. But before he could even begin to wrap his head around this development, Amano's attention was suddenly diverted by a spherical glowing mass, that's a quote, that materialized directly above his car. He stared in amazement at the hovering orbicular mass when, without warning, it fired a beam of orange light that penetrated the windshield and formed a perfect circle on the stomach of his sleeping daughter.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's why you leave your kid at home.
Oh no, she's gonna henshin now.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Yeah, really.
When the orbicular mass fucking chooses you,
Yeah.
what choice do you have? You transform. Suddenly, the unthinkable happened when Amano's sleeping toddler started to convulse and began foaming at the mouth as if caught in the throes of a seizure. That sucks. As if things couldn't get any worse, when the frightened father turned to grasp his trembling child, he abruptly felt a hard, metallic object being pressed into his temple from outside the driver's side window.
Oh, man.
What is happening?
Yes. What is happening? It's difficult to know what was going through Amano's head at that moment. While there can be little doubt that his concerns were with his struggling daughter, the shock of the pressure applied by this foreign object against the side of his head must have made the father wonder if, on top of everything else that had happened, he was about to be robbed at gunpoint on this desolate mountain. Worse still was the possibility that he may be shot and killed before he would be able to save his baby from her quivering fit. When he turned to face his assailant, Amano would be in for a shock that would, at least for a moment, drive all other thoughts from his head. Instead of a bandit armed with a revolver, the young entrepreneur spied something from out of this world. Standing next to the car and peering through the open window was what Amano later designated as a hideous entity unlike anything he had ever seen before. The snack bar owner drew a sketch of the creature and would describe it to a huge television audience as having an upside-down, egg-shaped head. So wider at the top. narrow at the
Okay,
bottom.
got it.
Right.
With two huge pointed ears emanating from either side of its face and a pair of close-set eyes which gave off a bluish-white glow like a miniature lamp. We are definitely going to put his original sketch out with this. You want to show it to Chris so
Yeah.
he's got an idea here? The thing had rounded shoulders.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you get a feel.
that's a dark elf.
It totally
looks like, too, yeah.
but it looks like a robot dark
Yeah.
elf.
Yeah.
It's it looks like if a Cyberman humped a dark,
dark-
elf.
yeah, that's it.
That would be the baby. The thing had rounded shoulders, no discernible neck, and a V-shaped indentation embedded into its skull, but lacked any other facial features like a nose or a mouth, save for a cylindrical pipe-shaped object that emerged from where its mouth ought to have been. It was this tubular protrusion that this vaguely humanoid entity used to press against Amano's skull.
So it's got its space bong.
Yeah, so
and it's just
basically-
pressing it against his head.
Yeah, it's his prototype. It's his intergalactic prototype, and instead of a gun, which I guess it should be a relief, so I guess sort of like the faceless fiend of Tengu, it's just got eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
But unlike it, it's got these big, like super Spock ears. Like I say, it really
Sorta
does look like a dark
sorta
elf meets a
like,
Cyberman.
what had the big goofy ears from Japan?
The Kofu.
Kofu.
Yes.
Yeah, the Kofu.
Yes,
It had
and
big
they
goofy
were
ears.
wrinkly, yeah.
Right. They had giant goofy ears.
Dude, the Kofu aliens look basically like
a Ferengi.
an elephant's nutsack mixed with a mummy.
Jesus Christ.
And they had big, giant, pointy ears, 3 fangs.
So you're saying it has wrinkles? Is that what you're
Yeah.
trying to
Oh,
say?
super-
All right.
super
right,
wrinkles.
right.
Okay.
If it just occurs to me, based on your reference, that this might be a fully armored Kofu alien.
All right. Here we
Because
go.
they're only about 4 feet tall.
Cyber-
yeah, they're
These things aren't
tiny
that
little
big.
bastards. Yeah.
So, I mean, if they like to frequent Japan, they got their big ears, and
Yeah.
they need to
was that miniature?
protect their face.
Was that miniature corpse goo?
Miniature. All right.
No,
so
that-
we've done
that
a lot
was-
of Japanese stories.
that was Kira.
The Kira UFO is the miniature UFO
yeah.
that the boys found lost, and,
Right.
and might have had miniature corpse goo.
Yeah. Kill the alien.
Kofu is 2 Japanese kids and 2 armed wrinkle sack aliens.
Right.
And that's different. Tengu
Right.
is also different. Katami is an octopoid with
Yeah.
like lesions.
That's right.
So we do a lot of Japanese stories, A, because Japan is fucking the ultimate, and B, because a lot of amazing
Yep.
extraterrestrial interactions happen
Well,
there.
it's interesting though. This thing has ears like the Kira. So,
Or at least this helmet-like apparatus has them.
Yeah.
It is
but it has a
definitely
bong
interesting.
for a mouth. So,
But
we'll
so
see.
yeah, what we're really focusing on now
We'll see where it goes.
is this tubular object that extends out and then curves up at the end, kind of like a pipe.
Right.
That this creature is pressing directly
All right.
to Mr. Amano's head.
All right.
Okay. The creature pressed the hard tube back into Amano's temple, and that's when a flood of sound began rushing into the restaurateur's consciousness. Amano immediately understood that this unearthly entity was trying to transfer what he referred to as a space message into his brain.
Not the way you want to have a message.
No.
No, a weird pipe.
Yeah, to your temple. Not good.
That's so odd.
Just write a fucking letter, dude.
I mean, well, who's to say? I mean, if you don't have
Really?
written words to communicate, if you don't have verbal skills,
Charades. That's what you do.
you're right.
Oh,
nailed
wait,
it.
you're right. Three words, 3 letters.
3 letters.
Movie.
Yeah. Planet.
Yeah.
Destruction.
Sounds like
Nuclear missiles. Look, it's not a penis. It's a nuclear
Oh, yeah, that is
missile.
perfect nuclear missiles.
space messages. Unfortunately, the only thing he could discern was an incoherent chorus of high-pitched sounds which were being blasted into his mind like a magnetic tape being played back at a ridiculously high speed.
Oh, yeah.
So the super screech. Amano sensed that there was an intelligent message, but he simply could not make it click. It was then that his senses began to return as he was flooded with a rush of adrenaline-fueled fear. Amano knew that he needed to get himself and his daughter as far away from this thing as humanly possible, and to that end he attempted to turn the key in the ignition, to no avail. Suddenly, Amano found himself become paralyzed everywhere except for his eyes. Happens all the time in abductions.
I know.
Like you can look around, but you can't do anything else. He saw the beam of light coming from the cloud-like UFO abruptly disappear, and with it, his daughter's convulsions. All right, so that's one thing. The floating mass of hate light that was shooting a beam into his daughter and making her have fits, that at least ended. He also noted that the light in the car had dimmed as if drained of power. But all the while, he was fully aware of the pressure against his skull as the pointy-eared entity continued to pump its quote-unquote space message into his brain. This time, the screeching tape sounds were accompanied by random chirps and a kaleidoscope of incongruent visual imagery. He felt as if his head might explode. Then, just as suddenly as it arrived, the creature with its magical futuristic U-boat pipe vanished, and the car's engine revved to life just as the radio and the headlights kicked back on. Not wanting to chance another catastrophic technological failure, Amano threw his car into gear and sped headlong down the narrow mountain roads. Amano admitted that in his blind panic he had all but forgotten about his poor daughter until he heard a weak voice call out from the back, "I want a drink of water, Papa."
Aww.
Good to know she's all right.
Yeah, she's good, but still, get that girl some water.
Yeah, no, hydration's important.
Fucking leave her at home. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Well, really, you're not counting on that when you're just going to talk over to CB with some bros
No, man.
in the mountains.
So, Mom's home. I'm going to give a little flash for it. She's working the snack bar right now.
Right.
I don't know what long distance calls were like in 78. I don't know if they were like living hand to mouth, or if he just loved his ham radio rig so goddamn much that he had to do it as often as he could. But he was probably doing a solid. The wife's working the business.
Right.
Let the baby sleep in the back seat while he's jawing it up with.
All right,
you know,
we're just gonna disagree on this.
I don't think we should judge him so harshly. I don't think he thought he was putting her in the kind of jeopardy.
Well, that's
that
what I
she ended up
mean.
being
He
in.
didn't go in the mountains expecting
All right, well.
Yeah, mean clouds and fucking.
Well, I'm the only one here that's dead. So.
asshole
All right.
light.
Oh, so you're gonna fucking throw
Yeah,
that dick in there?
Pull my dad card.
Oh,
Pull my dad card.
wow. All right, fair
Yeah,
enough.
there you go.
Amano drove more sensibly the rest of the way home. He noticed that his watch was frozen at 9:57 p.m., an event not uncommon in alleged extraterrestrial encounters. This most definitely implies missing time.
Yeah, missing time, yeah.
And he debated with himself whether or not he should go to the police with his story. Reluctantly, he came to the conclusion that he should tell the authorities what he had witnessed. When Amano arrived home, he carried his daughter to his wife and went immediately to bed in order to nurse the severe headache that had been plaguing him since the encounter. Yeah, you get fucking fed screeching sounds and intergalactic messages of whatnot.
Chirpy space.
Oh, chirpy space. As often happens in cases like this, the public and press quickly got wind of Amano's weird run-in, and it wasn't long before a popular television program called 11 p.m. And yes, it's in English. I mean, it's a Japanese show, but the title of it is in English, 11 p.m.
Yeah.
And you think of it sort of as, in that time period, the equivalent of America's, say, That's Incredible.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they just did strange stories from, athletic, mathletes and
Sounds like a weird ripoff of like
painters and
2020
UFO
or
stuff.
something.
Well, yeah, but it was all about
Right.
pop culture,
Yeah,
underground.
yeah. 11 p.m.
Yeah, you've succeeded,
2020.
and you're just an average Joe, but you did this thing. So, the people from 11 p.m. contacted the businessman and asked him if he would tell his story on the air. They even offered to have a professional hypnotist assist him in uncovering potentially repressed memories. After some consternation, Amano agreed to the TV show's terms, and at 11:15 p.m. on November 6, 1978, he shared his story with the rest of Japan. Intriguingly, after a few regression sessions with hypnotist Akio Morihi, I think I got it right, Akio Morihi, Amano revealed that the entity had managed to convey to him that he wanted to meet again on the same mountain. So while he couldn't actively remember understanding anything he said, under hypnosis apparently, and we all know, dubious as fuck, / shady, but it doesn't mean that no truth can be gleaned from it.
Right.
And in this circumstance, apparently, a message did come through, and that was, come back, we've got some unfinished business.
Okay. Don't go back, but all right.
Yes. And unfortunately, like so many of these stories, decades old, another nation, written up in some UFO chronicles, which was phenomenal that they took the time to do that at the time, bare bones printing operations. It sort of just fades away. But let's finish this up and then we'll talk about it. In order to avoid a crush of curiosity seekers from descending on Sayama and its nearby peaks, the producers of 11 p.m. decided to edit that information out of the program. They had actually recorded the hypnosis sessions and played a lot of it, but they didn't play when he was supposed to have his re-encounter. Unfortunately, the question of whether Amano had decided to meet the creature on the date in question or if he decided to play it safe and avoid those eerie peaks like the plague remains unanswered. But whether or not this second incident occurred, the Sayama close encounter is considered by many Japanese UFO investigators to be a landmark case in the history of Japanese ufology. It really is a big case. I'm not saying they're Dover Demon or Flatwoods, but it probably ranks really high up there for them.
Right.
So this is a really interesting case in that it's always been instantly associated with ufology. And yes, there is a UFO in the sense that there's this weird energetic cloud.
Doesn't necessarily have to be an alien, though.
Beam, exactly.
Yeah.
That shoots a beam into the little girl, causing a violent physical reaction. But there's nothing really super suggestive of an extraterrestrial encounter.
Not really.
I mean,
well, there's the classic losing the electricity and the time, like all that stuff.
You're right. The accoutrement surrounding the event smacks of it, but a lack of an apparent vehicle. Just this thing just shows up, and it seems to be a technological thing. Like the problem I have. Well, I have many problems with a lot of things, but Amano never specifies if he thought this thing was robotic, organic in sort of an armor shell, like we dealt with in plenty of other past episodes, like Flatwoods, or if this was just its face.
Yeah.
Like the Tengu thing. Like it's just a faceless thing with big ears and that happens to have an indentation in its head.
Yeah.
It looks kind of robotic, but that's just because perfectly spherical eyes and sharp, pointy, ears and smooth features just imply something manufactured to me.
Right. Well, yeah, totally.
But we really don't know. So the questions we're left with, assuming that this guy, didn't have a diabetic fit and it was all a fucking hallucination.
Shrooms.
Wasn't tripping his balls off and all
Shrooms and ham radio.
All the caveats that we always throw in there is, what was this thing? Why was it trying to communicate with him? I find it fascinating, the method of direct physical contact and feeding information into a brain. Because who knows? I mean, we talk verbally, other people talk with hand signals, like you're saying, charades and other things. But who's to say what different species communicate like? Is this thing indigenous to Earth? Is it one of those weird, Japan is literally chock full of legends of creatures that are older than humanity that, just like in Iceland and throughout Europe, all cultures really have it, Native Americans, where these creatures were here first. They're smarter, they're more evolved, and occasionally they want to talk to us for reasons that are just their own.
Right.
I mean, even though, like I say, this has all the earmarks of a UFO thing, like Chris was saying, missing time, electronics failing, something glowing and floating in the sky. Who's to say it wasn't a fundamentally terrestrial thing trying to?
It very well could be some sort of
with
fairy entity or something with a bong for a mouth.
super bong mouth.
Yeah,
Maybe.
could be.
Or not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Or
There's
fucking not.
kind of.
You know how I feel about fairies and fairy signs.
There's not a lot of.
You're a fan.
I love
There's
hashtag
him.
fairy signs.
That's all, and that's it. And there's just not a lot more than just his own.
Although whatever was above the entity in question, and it was hitting his little girl with like a light beam, was obviously causing the girl distress.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird that like this thing shows up is not attacking the child, but causing the kid distress, and then this thing comes through the window, puts its bong mouth on his head. There's download mass dumps of information to him or whatever, and then he's just kind of like, all right, well, we're done.
And that's a concept that would have been lost in '78. The idea of downloading, but it's funny that you say it that way because that's what it seems like.
It just seems like it's so fucking ass backwards.
It really does.
If you wanted to give someone a message, I wouldn't just show up and be like, I'm going to paralyze your daughter and put her in pain. And then, by the way, here's my bong mouth on your forehead. Here's my information. Suck it. Yeah, I mean, really. Like, it's just fucking, it's ridiculous.
You're 100% right. It is ridiculous by our standards of communication and social mores.
Right.
But maybe by their standards and abilities, that not only makes perfect sense, but it is like the height of etiquette.
This goes right back to the alien agenda. What the fuck do they want?
But you would think they had to have known they couldn't communicate.
You would think, yeah.
Or maybe it was implanted, like Mark called it, a big download, and that he consciously couldn't interpret it because it was like streaming, just lightning fast into his mind, but that it was being stored there, accessible maybe through hypnosis or some other, I mean, who knows what he might have been, what this information might have been designed to be used for at the appropriate time. Right. I know that it's totally pissing in the wind and wild speculation. We don't know it had any purpose.
Yeah.
It could have been babbling. It could have been high as fuck and just like doing its fucking ear.
Where do I go? Where am I?
Hey guys, how you doing? Like a fucking towley.
Yeah, exactly. But like hyper fast because they live on a different time spectrum where they fucking are just go.
Yeah.
Or it could have been some deep, profound interaction where he was specially chosen. And you know what? As far as the daughter goes, sure, on the surface it seems like an attack. Maybe they like the way the Georgia Stalks were trying to cure the dude of cancer and then ended up atomically rotting his brain.
Yeah.
Maybe they found like a little tumor or even a bacterial infection or something inside of her, and we're just getting rid of it, and she had to go through a little bit of pain, but it saved her a lot of misery in the long run.
I think that what we have to get across to these goddamn extraterrestrials is that we gotta fucking talk.
Oh, yeah.
It's what we need to do. We need to talk.
Well, now that
Don't put your bong mouth on my head and give me all the information. Fucking have a goddamn conversation with me over a sandwich and some soup, and let's figure out the fuck's going on.
Soup?
Let's
that sounds
talk.
fair. No, yeah, the Billy Bongmouth method of fucking intergalactic
fucking
diplomacy is dubious.
You're causing strife and confusion and hatred where there needs to be none.
I will grant you this. Let's talk big picture for a second. You're absolutely right. If you're more advanced than us and you can communicate with us to the degree where you can, when you're abducting somebody, you can be like, relax, we're not here to hurt you, everything's going to be okay. You're placating us like a domestic animal that's about to have a panic attack,
sure.
like when you're taking your kitten to the vet or whatever. If you're capable of doing that, you should be capable of fucking sitting down, humanoid to humanoid, or whatever the fuck you are, and just laying out the deal. Like, the fact that it is a constant fuck-sucking enigma is ceaselessly infuriating.
It doesn't have to be a goddamn game.
But unless it is a game.
But
if you read Brad Steger and Keel, a lot of their idea was like, no, that's the whole fucking point.
Right, it's a game.
It's the great fucking. They're just here to either. Like,
I think Rob calls it the fuck all.
Yeah, it is. It's a supreme fuck all. They're either here to help us like a Zen riddle accelerate our intellectual evolution by not giving us the full picture and making us struggle with it like a fucking somebody with two fingers and a Rubik's Cube.
Just assholes.
Or they're really just here to fucking torment us like just simple bare bones douchebags.
Makes them even bigger assholes.
I don't know.
Or they just fucking don't know how to communicate and you know what?
You're right.
If we went to another planet and we're like, hey, we
know.
need a little help. We need to get out of
I
here.
guess honestly,
and he's like, why'd you put your fucking bong to my head? I don't even know what you're doing right now. It's so rude.
I guess honestly, really, what it does come down to is just because they can possibly travel light years to get here doesn't necessarily mean that they have the proper means to communicate with us, because we communicate on a completely different level than obviously anything else out there. Well,
you can make a solid argument that we're more advanced
I'm assuming
than boll weevils, but we can't fucking tell a boll weevil what we're thinking and why it should do the shit it wants to do.
You can try to tell it.
But it would be just as much a waste of time as it seems when these creatures, whether they come from the cosmos, another dimension, ultra-terrestrial town, wherever the fuck they come from, it seems like they are even if they are much more advanced, no more capable of talking to us than we are to, a fucking potato bug.
It pisses me off. It's like I don't want to meet an alien because they're going to do something stupid and just piss me off.
Well, the ones that can talk to you,
stop putting your bong mouth on me.
They tell you, Mark,
it's horrible.
Don't start a nuclear war.
Right, and it's true.
Mark, fucking do this.
The space brains of Palos Verde. Yeah,
it's like you're not fucking telling this to world leaders, you douche bandits. You're just you're telling random.
You're telling
Joes.
Mark. Yeah.
Not that I'm dismissing your ability to stop nuclear war. God knows.
I can't do a goddamn thing about it.
I don't know.
Oh, hey guys, the alien space brains came and done told me that we got no nuclear bang bangs. Like no one's gonna give a shit what I say.
Well, you don't say that.
Well, yeah,
it's true.
That's true.
Or their motherfuckers are playing 26 fucking dimensional chess, and every little piece they put into motion, as absurd as it is, helps the grand scheme of the universe fall into place the way it's supposed to.
See,
and you're just by you, all of us, fuck all little pawns that need to turn left instead of right to make the machine work.
Yeah, see, I don't like that idea.
Well, nobody wants to be a goddamn cog.
I'm being a goddamn cog in a machine.
Yeah, I feel like it's not.
I'm a goddamn free
spirit.
The
universe that we observe does not seem to have an order. Like there's a thing. What we observe is just complete fucking
chaos.
It does what it does, gives no fucks.
I agree, but
I just feel like this is
by the paradigm of that, if there was an order, it would be so unfathomable to us. It would actually take something as absolutely buck-ass stupid as what these things do to keep it in check. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying that's a personal belief I have.
Right.
I'm not saying it's a big fat fucking clusterfuck and, bong robots are going to fucking throw, old Led Zeppelin remasters into your head for, a grand purpose. But at this rate, shit, why not?
Could be, who knows? It's
all
too.
Right, so let's
scale it back down.
Yeah, let's get off the grand cosmic scale here. Let's bring it down to what could have this guy misconstrued and or experienced that would make him think that this was happening besides extraterrestrial?
All right, so are you going flat out skeptical right now?
I'm saying, skeptically speaking, what could possibly be attributed to this?
Something terrestrial,
almost like a robbery gone wrong.
All right, here if I may.
The diabetes robbery,
a dream, which is dumb,
lucid dreaming.
But here's what and I know we've been down this road before. If there was some anomalous electromagnetic phenomenon that he perceived as some seemingly intelligent, energetic, orbular cloud that was focusing on his daughter, but it was like sort of ball lightning or something.
He's got a lot of gear in his ecto-1. He's got a lot of gear.
Yeah. He's way up high. We don't have any idea what the weather was at this time.
He's asking to get hit by fucking lightning.
If there was some sort of electrical discharge, that could have maybe fucked up his thought patterns and created a hallucination.
Short-circuited him for a second.
Yeah.
It's possible.
And it also might be able to actually explain why his daughter was having a seizure and foaming at the mouth, if there was some sort of weird electrical disturbance that was going through their bodies.
It would also explain why the watch would stop.
Does that work? I don't know.
I'm not. Listen,
that was lightning. See you next week.
In every way.
I don't know.
In every single way. Not even in some ways. In every single
know.
way, that is more plausible than almost anything else we've talked about. But that doesn't make it okay. That's where I would never fall into the debunkers trap.
Right.
We are genuine skeptics in that. Let's look at all the shit. But the idea of because that is slightly more plausible than the alternative.
Right.
Ergo, it must be true. I don't buy that either. I'm saying that's a possibility.
Let's just put that out there on the table of that's a possibility of something that could have happened.
Sure.
Okay. So, I think I personally am leaning more towards just your fucking typical interaction with a goddamn alien that makes no fucking sense, because why would anything ever make sense when it comes to aliens?
That seems to be the
That's what I'm going with. Right
that all the long-term ufologists fall into, whether it's Jacques Vallée or Keel. Not all of them. Some of them always stay pragmatic, and they're like, there's going to be disclosure. They're technological vehicles. They're able to communicate rationally. They just choose not to. There are people that fall into that pattern, and I envy them. But there's a lot of us that are just like Jung himself, Carl Jung, and like I say, Vallée and stuff. And I don't know where Jacques Vallée is right now with it. I know he's oscillated over the years, but where it just seems so batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That you just get to a point where it's like, these are not just another species from another planet in vehicles that are doing scientific and diplomatic chores here. There's either an overriding incredible agenda that we can't fathom, or they are just fuckulons that just want to mess with your goddamn mind hole consistently, or don't care, or they're just being jerks because, I mean, Earth's full of jerks. Why can't the universe be chock full of jerks?
Yeah, you just don't really
or maybe
know.
Maybe it really is just a total communication problem.
That
Maybe
could also be the case.
We just can't talk to each other. And I mean, this is how they talk with their weird bong mouths, and then we talk obviously with our lips and our lungs and our tongues.
There's no reason to assume that this thing had one nefarious intention. It might have completely just wanted to talk. It might have caught like some of the signals from the ham and been like, oh, these people are a little more advanced.
Kind of what I was thinking is maybe because he did have this, this unit or whatever up there, that maybe they were like, oh, this is something that we can talk to. You know? And then the thing shows up, puts its bong mouth on his head. The next thing you know, it's like I said, it's dumping Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah.
In the first three
it's
Black,
a nonstop onslaught
in the
of
first three
stress.
fucking Black Sabbath records on high speed, fucking into his head, and he just can't fucking handle it. So, which again, I guess goes back to the big intergalactic communication issue that we seem to have. So, I'm going with aliens, Chris. I don't know where do you think you're going with this? What do you think?
I don't know.
You normally have something that you pull out at the end. This is your time to shine, buddy.
I don't know, man. This one's.
You got it. No, you got it. I know
There's not enough corroborating one to pull. It's just a dude.
Right.
It is a dude.
So it's just hard. It's everything we said is
and
valid.
His thirsty little baby girl.
Yeah, keep the goddamn kid home. That's all I'm saying.
All of it's valid at this point.
Okay.
Any of the ideas, but
what
it seems alien.
towards?
It seems alien,
Okay.
but maybe he just saw it as alien.
All right. I mean, I'm going to agree with alien, but I'm not going to obviously, put ultra-terrestrial or some sort of weird fairy folk out there.
So you're not going to take ultra-terrestrial off the table?
Never taking ultra-terrestrial. Much like the devil, we ain't taking it off the table.
Well, I mean, demonic could also be something. I'm not saying I ever slide
wait a minute.
that way.
Is this a hashtag hell or space
well,
scenario?
it's got the pointy ears. It's
Don't
got
make me
the
sell T-shirts,
torturing
Robert.
of the innocents.
Don't you make me sell T-shirts.
It's got
torturing of the innocents.
Well, the little baby squirming in the back.
But it wasn't intentional torture.
We don't know. We
Let
don't
me finish
know.
my sentence, Rob.
It's got potential drug abuse.
All right. Well, if you want to get yourself a Hell or Space T-shirt, be sure to check out our TeePublic shop.
Shameless
Get
plug.
yourself a Hell or Space T-shirt. When you get that bad boy in the mail, you post it up on Instagram and you hashtag Hell or Space and you tag us and we'll talk about it. So, Rob, what do you think is going on?
I'm not. You know what? I'm not willing. I'm not willing to go with aliens for change. I know
All
it's
right.
got. I know. I understand
Contrarian to the end.
completely
All right, cool.
What you and Chris were saying about, apparently missing time and hypnotic regression revealing things and electronic devices not working. All of these things smack of it. In fact, it's so indicative of an extraterrestrial encounter that I'm suspicious of it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Gosh darn.
Too much like an alien?
It's
Too on
just
the nose.
too much. It's like, what's really going on here?
Oh.
What is
We
your
going back to
secret
Chris's
agenda?
conspiracy theory all of a sudden?
But on the other hand, that having all been said, I really kind of, after you made the Kofu analogy, I like the idea that this is just an armored up Kofu alien.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Maybe they have a secret base in Japan somewhere. Maybe every now and again they show up and try to talk to people, and they showed their faces and they're all wrinkly and three-toothed, and the kids lost their fucking mind with terror. So they're like, all right, let's put on our smooth faceless helmets.
Yeah, the Cyberman
let's try to talk
helmet.
you there. Oh wait, still can't hear my voice because I can't speak or whatever.
Yeah.
So let me give my fucking communotube a chance and jam it up against your fucking head and let you understand the glory of our interspecies fucking communion. Oh wait, that's not working either. But you know what? I'd like to think that these Kofu things are here and they're just doing their best, trying to up their game. And one of these days they're going to cut a duet with Celine Dion.
Oh yeah,
And
so
where
No,
you- where you
man, it's
going
gonna be
with this?
Peter Frampton.
Why would it be Peter
Because
Frampton?
he got
Frampton?
that mouth harmonica. Doesn't Frampton got the mouth
A
harmonica?
lot of people have those.
Well, but
He
isn't-
could be the
isn't-
bridge.
But isn't Frampton the guy that is the dude the thing?
I'm not
Right.
up to par my Frampton lore.
How are none of us up to par with Peter
No,
Frampton?
I think he's got that mouth guitar
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mouth guitar.
I mean, I don't know his antics, his musical antics that well, but
Is mouth guitar a? Never mind.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
mouth
category on X videos, but I didn't want to. All right.
all right. So ultra terrestrial.
Thank
Fucking
God.
dad.
All right, ultra terrestrial.
You're a scumbag. I'm going ultra terrestrial.
I am not a scumbag, good sir. All right, so Peter Frampton aside, mouth guitars. put away all your mouth guitars.
So hell space,
Heller
Frampton.
Space, Frampton, yeah. You're right though. Maybe possibly ultra terrestrial wise. I mean, it does. The tube for a mouth is interesting. That's definitely not anything that's.
It doesn't seem like it was
common.
trying to be offensive with it. It really seems like it was trying
I
to.
don't know, man. When you got a fucking tube for a mouth, you're almost automatically offensive.
Well, that's,
Like,
you know
stop.
what? That's bigotry, sir.
It is.
No, it's
That
not.
is
It's you have a
plain-
fucking tube for a mouth and you're putting it against my forehead and you're downloading fucking.
Well, uploading. Right?
You're doing mass uploads of fucking information to my head. You're fucking incurring on my space.
One of us
Like,
here,
fuck you, dude.
right now, is not being crypto woke. I wonder who it is.
I'm all about being crypto woke, but I'm all about crypto communication too. Like, talk to me.
Oh,
don't just put your tube on my
Listen.
fucking forehead and think I'm going to accept your download because I'm fucking not.
Well, all right, I get that permission is important,
Yeah, exactly.
but we have to respect their cultural
I'm
methods
not gonna
of
respect it.
communication.
I'm not gonna respect
They were
it.
on the clock apparently because they just appeared and then vanished just as fast out of nowhere.
See.
Or the missing time element, like they could have gone on a ship. They could have done all sorts of shit, partied hard, weekend at
true.
Bernie's, and then brought him back to the car,
Bernie's.
and then
I
left.
guess could have been, yeah.
Because if there was missing time, then
Right.
what would appear to be an abrupt vanishing could have been Christ knows
All right, so
how
I'm
long.
saying aliens. Chris is saying and then you're saying ultra terrestrials.
And Kofu's in disguise.
And Kofu's
I'm
in
all
disguise.
over
All
the
right.
And
board here.
demons and yeah, it's all.
All right, and
it's
there's also demons.
just-
the cyber dark elf.
I am pissed. I am pissed at the nether things for not being more clear in their agenda.
yeah.
And their
I mean,
and their ability to communicate.
Also,
with us.
too, skeptically speaking, we do have to look at that this dude did make a TV appearance. Just to go back to
He did.
that. Just to say he made a
absolutely
TV
did.
appearance. I'm not sure how much he got
They
paid.
approached him. I don't even think he probably got paid.
Okay, well,
honestly.
if he did,
to
then
do a
he's
show
not
like
making any
that,
money
you're
out of
usually
it.
not
All right.
getting paid. You're just
Right.
on there, and they're exploiting you because they think their audience wants to see it, so they can get the ducats from it.
Right.
And you are just who knows what his agenda was. You're right.
Right. I'm just saying, skeptically, we can always go back there just to kind of plant that little seed.
But did the little brother or any of the other ham buddies
Did they-
hear what happened?
Did they, well, no, because he turned his equipment off.
I just wanted to add a little spice to it.
A little
There you
spice.
go.
You're gonna add a little spice to the salad.
Probably the electro cloud
Do you put
shorted
spices
everything
in
out
salad?
anyway. You can, I suppose.
Like what?
Like white pepper, maybe.
Like
Depending on
Mrs.
the type of salad.
You could.
What was it, Mrs. Dash? Remember Mrs. Dash
Of course
back in the
I
day?
love
Yeah.
Mrs. Dash.
Put a little Mrs.
Mrs.
Dash in your
Dash.
salad.
That's
Yeah.
a delicious salt substitute.
Fucking brings it up.
Well, what
Fuck
about the
yeah, Mrs.
daughter? Just
Dash.
because the daughter was getting beamed, maybe while she was doing that, she heard stuff.
Oh, that's true. Maybe,
Somehow.
maybe
Could've,
the
yeah.
cloud,
Somehow.
literally the cloud, was fucking uploading into her
Yeah.
while fucking Johnny Tubes much is fucking feeding the dad.
It's
yeah.
true.
Did she go to the doctor? Did he take her to the doctor? See if she was her?
It seems like he brought her home and he just went to bed because he had a headache. I'd be bringing my
Yeah,
kid to
I
the fucking
guess.
hospital immediately. Like, yo.
No, I'd be up all night watching
Some
her like
aliens
a
fucking
hawk.
zapped her and she's
I mean, she
fucking
had a
foaming.
goddamn seizure.
Yeah.
She's foaming
That's
at
what
the
I
mouth.
mean. Like,
That's
what the fuck?
terrifying.
Yeah, I don't
All
know,
right,
man.
be a better dad.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone's coming down on me because I'm giving the guy shit for bringing the kid out there. I'm a fucking dad.
Listen, I don't give him grief for bringing
I've
the
kept
kid out
kids
there.
alive for
Listen,
years.
I've brought kids to the my niece and nephew. I shouldn't say kids. I'm not like randomly harvesting
Yeah, I was
kids and
gonna
bringing
say,
them to the
really?
drive-ins.
Fucking Freddy Krueger?
But
What the
I
fuck?
have
my
brought
God.
my niece and nephew to late night movie enjoyments forever. I don't feel like that is being intrinsically neglectful or mean. In fact, I think it's a nice, fun bonding thing. Taking kids out at night is not a bad thing. Not taking care of them once they were attacked by some fucking alien intelligence.
And a
Yeah.
beam.
That's less
That's
cool.
questionable. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
obviously questionable. All right.
Don't judge my uncleness.
I'm not judging your uncleness. I'm just saying that the dude here is it's questionable.
There's everything about this fucking
It's
thing is
pretty
questionable.
fucking questionable. Yeah. I mean,
You know?
he could have gotten drunk, could have gotten high. Just could have gotten, he's got a souped up car, too many fucking radio waves, maxing his fucking brain out, frying yourself, tech wizard.
That's true. Like exposure. I mean, I don't know ham radio gear at all. I don't imagine it's redolent with magnetic field stuff. Maybe it is. But if you're like crammed next to it a lot in a small car on a hillside, does it eventually eat away?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
But I mean, we
ham psychosis.
We can go there.
Is that a diagnosable?
I could ask my
thing?
grandfather, like, hey, Gramps, you know any people that suffer from ham psychosis?
Gramps, do you know anyone who went ham crazy?
Yeah, I don't think he does. But all right, cool. So there you have it. That is the Kryptonaut podcast for this week. There it is.
I think we really nailed this one.
I think again,
completely not at all.
I think again, like most things in life, it just comes down to communication.
Yeah,
with your partner and or future partners, and just talk it out.
Yeah, friends, lovers.
Yeah.
Family members.
Weird pipe bong fucking faced aliens. Just talk it out.
I'm going to just like randomly put like pencils in my mouth and just lean up on people, see how it works.
Be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking.
I'm down.
I thought.
Downloading information.
At least I thought we were.
Oh.
All right, so cool. Yeah, there you have it. Thanks for joining us. As mentioned earlier, CryptonautPodcast.BigCartel.com. Get yourself the enamel pin set for $13. 2 pins, Robert.
So nice.
Christopher, 2 pins, $13. We have beer koozies, and that comes with a bonus pin that's not a enamel pin, but just a regular square pin. TeePublic, you can get all of your gear there too, your T-shirts, your hoodies, your totes, your other stuff.
And as I mentioned before, I mean, we're not into randomly soliciting nonstop ideas, but if you guys think there's something we've done that would deserve a good T-shirt, let us know.
Totally. Hit us up on the social medias, the Instas, the Twitters, the Facebooks. Ratings and reviews. Stick around. We got some ratings and reviews to go over, and you can leave those in the iTunes, the Apple Podcast app. It's always greatly appreciated.
And it helps tons.
It does, totally. And you know what? Thank you to all of our good listeners. Thank you all so very much for tuning in every week and listening to us. It means a lot to us.
Oh, totally.
Word.
We got tons of new listeners. We're super excited to talk to everybody. We appreciate the support, the nonstop support, which is just, we're all so grateful for.
You guys are literally the fucking best.
You guys fucking rule.
Nonstop, one of the greatest joys of my life.
Thank y'all, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Bye.
Hi, bye.
Keep it real, bong mouth.
All right, cool. Thank you for sticking around for the ratings and reviews. I'm going to be doing the iTunes and the Apple Podcast apps, kicking it off with favorite podcast ever, 666 stars, which is actually a 5-star review from Megan J 1010. So she goes on to say, been listening since October. After hearing a few episodes, I fell in love and spent several days doing nothing but catching up on this pod, echoing exactly what everyone else has said. But when I listen to the 3 bearded boys, I feel like I'm grabbing beers with my buddies. Y'all seriously have the most endearing personalities. I've turned so many friends onto the pod, and my boyfriend now uses the creatures as inspiration for creatures in our D&D campaign that he DMs.
Oh, that's awesome.
Shit, that's wicked.
That really is cool.
I want to play D&D with you guys. The fuck? I regularly catch myself laughing in public at the gym, on my lunch break, at the library. I love our little Instagram community, too. Oh, she has at Maggie the Aggie. What up, Maggie? And I've made so many crypto friends. 66 stars, 666 stars for Rob's ridiculous writing and amazing alliteration. Heller space and the love of DIY/punk rock shows. Never ever take the devil off the table. Long overdue on this review, but sending the most love from CT. Beers on me sometimes. These guys fucking rock. Cheers.
Oh,
jeez.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bitch, Megan. That's a fucking awesome review.
Yeah, it really
Thank
is.
you.
That is a heart
And she
warmer.
shouted out Maggie, which is pretty dope. So that's cool. Yeah, there's a cool little Instagram community that we got going on where everyone's friends and hanging out and being cool.
That was a subcocular warming.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So, Rob, what do you got?
What I have is a review from Tyler Carter. And this is what he has to say. I found this podcast 2 weeks ago, binged over 40 episodes in that time, and is easily in my top 8 or 9. in parentheses, top 5.
Oh, nice. is that a reference to me?
That's totally
is that
a reference to you.
me? I think so.
And have been telling whoever will listen about it. Keep up the great work. Well, we'll do our diggity damnedest. Thank you, Tyler.
All right, cool. So
try.
moving on here, I've got good podcast, 5 stars from Slade W. Oh, you think that's maybe Slade Wilson?
It's him.
Is that quite possibly Deathstroke?
No doubt, yeah.
Oh, no, it's him.
Does he talk about how much he hates Robin?
We're
exactly. Good podcast. Can't wait to hear it when it comes out. Slade W.
Well, thank you, Slade.
Yes, fuck Robin.
Fuck Robin and The Flash is the dick. So,
that's awesome.
Cool.
All
Slade W, thank you very much. And if it is Slade Wilson, fucking A. Awesome.
Yeah, it's dope as shit. All right, we've got a 5-star review from Michael R. Johnson. I found out about this podcast in the Monsters Among Us fan group.
Oh,
big shout out,
Derek.
and Eddie.
What up, Addy?
I've been binging and enjoying the hell out of it the past couple of days. So much fun, and I don't mind the profuse swearing. Oh, I think it's multiple smiley faces with zippers.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we swear, and some people don't like it, but some people do like it.
No, it's just profane faces. I can't tell the symbolism.
Okay.
But
Sweet.
Regardless, thank you, Michael.
All right.
Thank
awesome. The indie podcast of the paranormal, 5 stars from Cap Jack Ass.
Ha!
Oh, God. Okay.
I only just started listening last week, but I'm already hooked. They always have interesting and little-known stories that even hardcore fans of the paranormal probably haven't heard of, and they do a great job and keep it interesting in a fun way. If we were ever in prison together, I would totally have your backs, assuming you're not serial killers.
Well, that's a heavy
no
Well,
comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all were like, serial killers?
Let's
What?
not judge.
Bodies under the floors. Yeah, but I mean, even if we were serial killers and we were in jail, I mean, we can still hang out and it'd be cool. Like, I wouldn't like...
Yeah, you don't serial kill in the slammer.
Yeah, you can't, can you?
You
do that?
can, but I mean, not serially.
Right.
You're bound to get caught. You can occasionally kill,
Totally.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, he shanked some people.
Yeah. All right, well, Rob, continue on with Facebook,
in the
please.
weight room.
I was not expecting that to take that turn.
Yeah,
All right. This review is a 5-star review as well, and it comes to us from Damian Cronin. Came across this podcast last week, and I absolutely love it. You guys have a fun, lighthearted attitude, but very deep knowledge and love for all things monster that keeps me really engaged while making me laugh at the same time. Keep killing it, guys. You're doing an absolutely spectacular job. Much love from Ireland, my bearded bro.
Oh, shit.
damn.
What up, Ireland?
Emerald Isle.
Nice. What up,
Oh,
Ireland?
the homeland. Well,
All
thank
right.
you. Thank
Cool.
you, Damien. And we'll fucking do our damnedest.
Awesome. All
Keep
right.
up the
Ryan.
spectacular job.
I'm going to round it out here with our last review. A fan-fucking-tastic podcast.
Hi.
5 stars from Luke Skywalker 23. In comparison to the 1 and 2 star reviews, I thoroughly enjoyed the explicit content and alliteration. Look forward to the podcast every week and appreciate that other people swear as much as I do. Keep it up, guys. There you go.
Shit. Do you think that was
Brothers in
really Luke
arms.
Skywalker?
Thank you, Luke Skywalker 23. You and Slade Wilson are my fucking boys. So fucking Rob and Chris want to give me shit, make me think that you're not real. But you know what? Fucking Luke Skywalker and Slade Wilson all the fucking way.
We're not making you think it's not real.
Exactly.
Whatever.
When
I
have
asked
we ever
you.
dashed your fantasies?
You constantly
Rob
dash my fantasies.
Only when they're
It's not
dangerous
real.
to you.
Jesus, all right. Anyway, there's the ratings and reviews. Thank you for getting my back,
You
boys.
guys are so mad.
Jesus.
Yes, you guys
Let me
fucking
be
rule.
me, for the love of God.
You are you, and we love it.
Okay.
All right, well,
you know
whatever.
Just don't be you to
Whenever
your
we make
detriment.
Frozen and I'm putting you in it. And then you
Listen,
can sing all the songs.
First of all, I fucking love Frozen. And second of all,
I know
I'm
you do.
fucking excited about Frozen 2.
I
All right?
believe
I
it.
Love it.
That's really the only
Seriously.
response.
All right, good. All right, anyway, I'm going to go home and watch Frozen. So
Okay.
fucking fuck you guys. All right, there you
All right,
go.
dude.
All right, so thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Here's our last goodbye. Again, thank you all for the ratings and reviews. We appreciate it. Keep them coming. And I'm talking to you soon.
Bye. See you later.
Frozen by the lives. Never mind.
Is that
Is
the
that
song?
really a song?
No, let it go. Let it
Oh,
go.
yeah, that's the one that I've heard.
Yeah. There
All
you
right,
go.
fair enough.
Okay. Yep. Start practicing because I'm writing the script.
Yeah, no, he is too.
All right, let's
Frozen
do
starring Mark. That's what it's called.
it. Just gross Mark and a Frozen.
Oh,
girl.
a one-man show.
Oh, gross Mark is
It's just
Elsa.
different wigs.
Oh, nice, nice. I do love Elsa. All right, we're talking to you.
All right.
Oh my God.
That was the cougar.
Super Puma.